Okay, brilliant. So looking at the other end of the pitch, there have been reports as well that Arsenal are looking at Bournemouth defender Dean Huijsen. It would be about a 50 million purchase, I think. And of course, they're going to face ridiculous competition. I mean, Howson's been one of the standout players, the standout defenders in the league this term. And you could argue that Arsenal maybe don't really need another centre back right now. But then again, this has come out at the time that Saliba. There's been a lot of noise about Saliba and Real Madrid. So the fact that Arsenal do seem to be looking at Dean Howson, does that suggest to you that they are a bit worried about the prospect of losing William Saliba?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that they'd be worried about it. I think they're just looking at him because he's one of the best young defenders in the world, and he's potentially on the market this summer. Well, he's on the market this summer. And if you're a club, a top club, you want to sign the best young players in the world. It's an interesting one. I think with this one that I feel like because there is interest there from Arsenal, and um, but the strength of interest from elsewhere, I think might make it difficult for Arsenal to really follow this one up. And this is kind of me talking more as a hunch than sort of information on it. But we know that Bournemouth want a quick resolution to this, and Howson does as well. And I just feel like if Arsenal were to do anything with him, they would need someone to go out first. I don't see them signing him without anyone going out. And that just makes me think that others might be in a better position to sort of get it done quickly, a Liverpool or a Chelsea or someone like that, potentially in the summer. But if they were to sign him, I don't think it would be necessarily because either Gabriel's going to Saudi or Saliba's going to Real Madrid. I just think it's like, well, we're future proofing ourselves here. We've got a really good young, talented defender who could come in, could learn from these two centre backs because Howson's still so early on in his career. So early, he's got huge amounts to learn. And what better way to do that, develop than behind arguably the best centre back partnership in the world, which could end up breaking up in the next couple of years. Hopefully it doesn't, but it could. And then you can just slot in because he can play on the right or he can play on the left. So it would make a lot of sense from an Arsenal point of view, but I just wonder if they're going to be best positioned to get this deal done for such an in-demand player who, by all accounts, Bournemouth want to get done very, very early on.
Yeah, I mean, that Saliba Gabriel partnership you just mentioned, that is, at the moment, it's unbreakable. And I think, Dean Howson, he's far too good to be a backup for any Premier League club. Of course, we could see Kivior go in the summer, but then again, not sure Howson would want the same game time as Kivior's getting right now. I mean, like I say, Saliba and Gabriel, there are few, maybe no centre backs in the world who would start over them right now.
Yeah.
Is Howson one of them, or would he have to accept that backup role at Arsenal, which could make him less inclined to join the Gunners as opposed to a team, say like Man United, where he would be guaranteed more regular minutes.
Yeah, no, I think he'd have to accept being a backup. I mean, he's not going to come in and break up that partnership unless something were to happen with Saliba and Gabriel. But I think when you're his age and you've only just sort of broken through into first team football, I don't think you can expect to walk in at a very top club and just be a starting centre back straight away. I'm not necessarily sure. I mean, if Liverpool still have Konate and Van Dijk, if he goes to Liverpool, is he going to definitely muscle one of those two out? I mean, I don't think so. I think you've got to learn your trade still. If you're going to a top club, you've got to accept there's going to be a hell of a lot of competition. So I can't imagine that is at the very forefront of his mind right now. Is it? I have to go in and play every single game if I'm going to a Real Madrid, a Bayern Munich, an Arsenal, a Liverpool, a Chelsea. If you're really sort of thinking that, then I think you've got the wrong people in your ear telling you what you need to be doing at this stage of your career. It's more about how do I develop best? What club am I going to go to where in the next 2 or 3 years I'm going to develop into one of the top defenders in the world. So I think that's what they need to be looking at rather than I've got to go in and play every single minute right away as a 20-year-old kid who's only just broken into the Bournemouth team in the last 12 months or so.